What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sailor Turn Gamer, and we are back in the building, coming at you with another Dauntless video. Well, today's Dauntless video, we're coming at you with a build I am calling the Hamptons 5 build. Why is that? Well, because I took and I created and crafted and molded the best combination of perks for any repeater player, hands down. And when I say combination, I mean combination. So I know we're missing things like Predator, but again, guys, I say the best combination of perks. So this is hands down the best way you can do that. If you're curious on why, then stay tuned. I will explain that. First off, let me talk about the reasons of why this build came to be, and that is because we came out recently with our piercing part breaker build, and I had a couple of players say that, hey, this build is very late game, and I would like something that's a little bit more mid tier that gives me something to aim for, and also something that, you know, I can utilize to get to that particular point. And that is where I came up with this bad boy in the Hamptons 5 build. So with that, hey man, the only thing that build was weak to, it utilizes 2 Rezakiri pieces. So in addition to it being late game, Rezakiri is weak to Darkness, is weak to things like Shroud and Riftstalker. So what better way to implement the build by having a couple of pieces from Riftstalker himself making a special guest appearance, and those pieces came into clutch and helping us create this amazing deadly combination. Not only is it deadly, it really allows you to be very flexible and gives you high amounts of customization when it comes to deciding the way you want to play the repeaters. How is that? Well, I will explain. So without further ado, yeah, I'm going to break this build down, and then we're going to get into one of the many ways that you can play this game and play this build. Alright, so first let's talk about why the perks and how the perks came to be, and what makes me think that these perks are so amazing. Well, I don't just think, I know. So let's talk about them. Etheric Attunement, 50% Lantern Charge. Well, the reason why we have Etheric Attunement maxed out is because we wanted that to pair together with Conduit. Conduit, using your Lantern hold ability, is going to give you 25% attack speed. Not only you, but for your teammates. So of course, you are playing with repeaters. Of course, you're not the one that's breaking parts as much as other classes, you know, like the axe or the sword or some of these other classes. You're not staggering a lot like the hammer, but what you can do very well is support and be able to do layered amounts of damage. That's where that Conduit comes into play. So 25% attack speed. If you don't know, now you know. The higher your attack speed is, the faster you reload, which is key. So being able to get that Lantern Charge fully is going to play very well with 2 particular types of lanterns, which has very synergistic feels when it comes to some of the playstyles that I suggest you play with when determining this particular type of build. I look at it from 2 perspectives, and I'm going to break that down much later. If you are doing anything other than the Shining Arcstone stuff, anything other than that heroic stuff, I would say go with Strike Zeal. And if you're doing heroic level difficulty things, I would say go with Koshai's Embrace. Don't worry, I'm going to explain both portions of the way you can play with those methods, so be tuned. The key important part of that is the pure functionality of Koshai's Embrace. And so if you are a player that's not worried about losing your health, you are a player that's extremely talented when it comes to dodging attacks, when it comes to maintaining that health threshold, then I suggest, hey, you don't need Koshai's. You can drop that, or you can just stick with Strike Zeal. But if you are concerned about maintaining your health in some of the more difficult hunts, then this is where that Koshai's Embrace comes into play, and I'll break both of those down in a short, sweet second. Okay, let's talk about Evasion and Evasive Fury. I mean, these go hand in hand in itself, right? You want to have a huge dodge window that's going to keep you safe when you're in the thick of it, and that is a key in itself. Being able to dodge is going to really help you not only maintain your health, but that's where that Evasive Fury comes into play. Once you dodge an attack, you're going to get a 25% attack speed boost for 16 seconds, which is very key. And this is where maximum molting comes into play as well, because those moltons are going to increase your attack and movement speed. Faster you move is going to also not only keep you safe, but it's going to help with your movement ability, which is going to allow you to continue to keep your guns pointed out, and it's going to keep you from putting them away. So this is pretty clutch. Now, the flexibility of Strike Zeal and Koshai's Embrace is what helps these builds formulate. So let's talk about that. Strike Zeal, right? If we check out Strike Zeal, you're going to be able to create an aura that's going to increase your attack speed and movement speed by 15% for not only you but your teammates, and that's going to be key when determining that playstyle. It's going to help you to stay close to the behemoth, stay close to your teammates so they can continue to attack faster, not only with the moltons that you drop, but with the Strike Zeal that is effective, and your conduit that's going to be effective. With this particular type of playstyle, you're going to be able to essentially keep up your Strike Zeal throughout the entirety of the hunt. So you're always going to have a base level of 15% when it comes to attack speed and movement speed. So that is fairly clutch in itself. Let's talk about one of the best ways I think to play that particular playstyle when using that lantern. What you want to do is use Salvo's Chamber and Captain's Grip. Captain's Grip is kind of mandatory just because I don't think Saboteur's Grip is that good, and I think it kind of limits you. But Captain's Grip is amazing, so hey, don't worry about that. And it even has an empower state. I'm sure you guys know that by now. If you are empowered, once you do your reload, you're going to be able to grant this buff to all of your teammates as well, so you're going to get an additional 20% attack speed. So essentially, you're going to have a 35% attack speed buff most of the hunt with a base level of 15% going right off the bat. Once you have that 15%, of course, you're going to get another 25% from conduit. So if we're doing our math right, you're already at 60%, I believe, for your attack speed. And with the molten, that's going to stack as well. And then with Evasive Fury, so you're going to be at 85%, not counting molten. And that could be anywhere upwards to 100% additional attack speed, which is clutch for not only you, but your teammates as well. So your teammates are going to be hitting a lot faster, which is going to allow you to do a lot more damage, which is going to allow you to be able to knock these behemoths out. When it comes to the barrels, those are pretty much up to you and up to the hunt. Of course, you want to be advantageous element wise. As far as the catalyst, I'm typically going to suggest extraction catalyst because evasion is key to keeping you safe. But not only does it keep you safe, of course, it's going to give you that additional attack speed that we talked about, but it is also going to give you that extraction catalyst that's going to proc, and you're going to get a reduction in your abilities. The more reduction you get in your abilities, obviously the faster you can use them. But not only that, each time you hit that enemy with the Salvo's Chamber, it's going to really uptick on that Lantern's charge due to Etheric Attunement. And with one Salvo's Chamber, you can pretty much get back at least a third, if not half, of your bar back. This is where it comes into play with maintaining full uptime on Strike Zeal. As far as the Prism, I'm typically going to suggest Stoneheart Prism because, in my opinion, wouldn't you rather be safe than sorry? If you are, of course, a player, like I talked about that before, when you can switch it up, it's up to you. But if you are a player that doesn't have trouble with losing health, and you're like, hey, I don't get hit, this is what I do, and switch it out. And you can switch it out with pretty much anything you prefer, but some of the ones I would look at will be Brilliant Prism, or I would say possibly Searing Prism. The reason why I suggest Brilliant Prism is because the charge rate is going to increase with higher amounts of health, and that's going to come into play with the secondary playstyle. So I'm going to scroll down to that, and you guys can check that out. If you swap out Strike Zeal for Koshai's Bloom, and then you swap out Salvo's Chamber for a full bore chamber, now you have this piercing effect that comes into play. The piercing effect is huge because you can do tons of damage against the behemoth, and there's this beautiful combination when it is empowered by doing increased amounts of damage. But if you proc the instant for Koshai, you get 10% of your damages returned as health. So it's a huge way to get a lot of health back. Your attack speed is going to be incredibly high. You're going to be able to proc that full bore chamber, slice right through the behemoth, get tons of health back, and then it's going to knock you back to keep you safe. You can throw your throwable. That's going to give you more attack speed, and instead of running towards the target, you can then use the hold ability to dash towards the target, and then you can reload, and you have tons of attack speed. There's so many combinations that you can play with. I think it might be best for me to go with that playstyle in order for you guys to see that combination. I use it quite often, but I think one of the more effective plays for newer players is going to be for me to show the 100% uptime for Strike Zeal, which I think is amazing. So you guys are going to see the consistency of the attack speed and the effectiveness in which the build operates by using the Salvo's Chamber Captain's Grip combination. And we're going to show you guys that particular piece of gameplay. And with that being said, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we are, and I'm going to break this down. Of course, as soon as you shoot, you're going to get your Molten ability to proc. You always want to empower and stay close to the target. Use your Tri-Burst, and once you have it, the fight is on. We already have right now activated our Strike. Zeal, shown by our Whirlpool effect. You want to get in close at all times. You don't want to be far away from the behemoth. Activate your combination at all times. As you see, we got a huge chunk of our health back. A huge chunk of our bar back by doing that. As soon as you get your bar, use it. Don't be afraid to not. Throw down the buff for the whole squad and just get to firing. Make sure to always keep up your Moltens and use those Strike, Zeal, Tri-Burst when you get a chance. But you want to make sure you use that Tri-Burst as long as your Strike, Zeal combination is still charging up. Once you have it, proc it, and then go for your Tri-Burst effect so you can get that huge chunk. Because you don't want to waste that huge chunk of energy. You want to stay close. You want to stay real close on them. And this is where it really benefits from doing any type of lower tier hunt. This build is perfect for that because look at that. Look at the etheric shield that we have. It's keeping us safe. And I know we got hit with being a little reckless, but you can afford to do stuff like that when you got an etheric shield. And once you get this build to tier 10 and you got even more protection, you can afford to do stuff like that. You just want to stay uptight, stay close on them. Once you get that charge to proc, boom, you pop it, and here comes the speed. Look at the speed. Throw down your Tri-Burst for the whole group. The whole group gets buffed. It's okay if you can't see. You just want to aim. Boom, pop that Tri-Burst when you have it. Make sure that you do use it once your Lantern ability is still charging, because again guys, you don't want to use it while it's charging. You want to stay in tight. Boom, look at that huge chunk of energy we just got back. And as you see, we have it right now. We have our Lantern fully capable while we are still activating it. So we can have our Lantern ability activated while it's fully charged. That is the beauty of the Hamptons 5 build. Again, you want to stay uptight and close on your teammates. You want to stay right up on them. It's going to help them out. It's going to help them out so that way they can receive an attack buff. And of course, you always want to help your teammates out when they can. This is where it comes into play with support, because you got the big boys swinging the hammers, throwing that axe. And they can do that so much faster with your speed. I don't know what time that was, but it's efficient. As you see, we have, for the most part, 90 to 100% upkeep on our Lantern charge ability, and that's due to the Hamptons 5 build. This is the best combination of perks you can run for a repeater. I highly suggest you guys try this build out. You're going to love it. That's a promise. In the meantime, I will be releasing a video where I'm going to be giving you guys tips on how to play with the repeaters, because I've noticed a lot of the newer players doing some things that I don't suggest you do. So I'll be breaking that stuff down a lot later, and stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. And until then, this sailor will be out in the open ocean. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.